You are fat. You're ugly. You have no ass. You don't have any boobs. You're way too skinny. When are you ever going to put meat on your bones? Have you ever heard these things? I personally have. I've heard each and every one of these. And it sounds funny because you look at me now and it's like, whoa, you're kind of chunky there, mamas. But even that right there, how we are body shaming. Hi, you guys. Today's episode of Swept Under the Rug. That's right. I officially named it. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. We have so many great topics. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to make sure I have everything up. I have so many great topics for us to cover. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But today, let's talk about body shaming. Right? What does it do to us? What have we been through because of it? Does it really affect your psyche? Well, let's get into it. So, personally, I have always struggled with my weight. When I was little, I was super skinny. And then, like, third grade, I got fat, right? I mean, y'all can see this. Look, a chunky girl. Sorry, my shirt's wet. I dropped my water. It was a mess, y'all. My bad. But a chunky girl, right? So it's always been, you're pretty, but you're really fat. Or you're pretty, but you're chunky. Or maybe you should lose weight and people will like you more. Maybe you should not eat so much and maybe it'd be better, right? Those are the comments that I've heard since I was small. Third grade, I was what? Let's see. Like 8, maybe 9? I don't know. Somewhere in that range. Between like 8 and 10, right? What do you think that does to a child? What do you think that does to how they feel about themselves, right? Hold on, y'all. My bad. I gotta turn off this fan. Go see all my children. What do you think it does to their psyche, their self-esteem, the way they look at themselves, the way they are able to have confidence within themselves? We start this shaming from a very small age, whether we realize we are or we don't, right? We start with when you're little. Oh, you're so chunky and so cute. But for some reason, at a certain age, it stops being cute all of a sudden. All of a sudden, it's a problem now. Even if you're eating healthy, you're doing this, you're doing that, and it just happens to be some extra baby fat that your body just hasn't gotten rid of, it's a problem. And slowly but surely, you hear comments made. They may not be made directly at you. Maybe it's a family member telling your mom or dad, well, do you think they eat too much? What are you feeding them? Or vice versa. Maybe you didn't have any chunk as a child. And everybody was constantly saying, do you even feed her? Do you even give her food? Does she eat at all? And you have no control over it at that moment. And then you hit your adolescence. That is the hardest time in anyone's life because you have new hormones. You have things going on in your brain that have never happened before. And now you're subconscious about the way you feel, about the way you look, about how others look compared to you. And all of that had been instilled in you from a little age. You're seeing these people on TV that look amazing, and you're thinking, how do I get there? How can I be that person? People seem to love that person. How can I be that person? How can I change me? And all of a sudden you stop being enough. All of a sudden you don't matter. And it's so devastating when we really think about it, when we really look at what body shaming, whether it's calling somebody fat or chunky, or calling somebody skinny or a toothpick, telling them they have chicken legs, flat chested, no butt, thunder thighs, big boobs. These things affect you from the very first time you hear it. From the very first time somebody mentions anything about your body, you start to internalize it. And when it goes from, oh, you're so beautiful, to maybe you could lose a bit of weight or gain a bit of weight, all of a sudden you're questioning, so does my weight control if I'm beautiful? And then in your adolescence, you get pimples. Some people get lots of them. Some people barely get any of them. But then you start to think, does that affect if I'm beautiful? So is it only the way I look that makes me beautiful? Is it only the things that I put on? Do I need to put on makeup? Will that make me beautiful? I see all these commercials. I see the magazine. They're all wearing makeup. Maybe I could do that. That'll make me beautiful. But then what? You're clogging up your pores more. You're making your pores and pimples even worse. You're causing yourself to have this extra mask on before you can even understand that no one really cares. Right? Oh, yes. Let me do that. Let me do that real quick. Sorry, y'all. I'm pasting linky link right now. There. I know personally, when I was younger, I always felt like the fat girl of the group. And I hated it. Because I always wanted to look like the other girls. But I liked food too much. Let's be honest. But then you also develop unhealthy habits with food. You can develop bulimia. You can develop overeating. You can develop anorexia. All because you want to fit society's way of thinking. You want to be accepted by everyone around you. And for some reason, you're just not good enough. And you don't understand why. Because before you were fine. Everybody loved you. You were cute. But now you're too fat. You're too skinny. You're too tall. You're too short. You got big feet. Your hair is not pretty enough. You have too much makeup on. You don't wear enough makeup. Why are we allowing children to have these thoughts be placed in their mind? And why are we placing them in their mind before they can even get to know who they are? We take our insecurities and we push them onto the younger generation. Well, I was fat, so I don't want you to be fat. Oh, people didn't like how I looked, so I gotta make sure you look nice. I always wanted to dress this way, so let me dress you that way. And before we know it, we have tiny people that are looking like grown adults for no good reason. If you watch some of these shows now, you got 10-year-olds with full faces of makeup, hair done up all crazy, looking like they're 20 when they should just be outside playing. Why are we dolling up children like they're grown for our entertainment? What has society come to? What has the world come to? Because the whole world is like this. Everybody watches it. And even if you don't watch it, you've seen it. You know what I'm talking about. I don't watch those things, but I know that there are tiny pageants or whatever they're called. And these girls have all this makeup on. Their skin is perfect the way it is. Like, that's the most perfect skin they'll ever have. Why are we ruining it? Why are we putting children in heels and tight little skirts and tight little dresses and all these things to flaunt their body, and then we're getting upset because pedophilia is on the rise? I mean, we're putting it out there. We're inviting it in. You go to the store now and the kids' clothes are so tiny. If I would have ever grabbed anything like that as a child, my mom would look at me like, I don't know what you want, but you better be putting that back. But it's all the clothes now. You have to search for appropriate clothing for children. And I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about children, 5 to 10 years old. You have to search for something that covers everything. But then you want to be out here saying, protect the children. You're not protecting them where it should start. You're breaking down their self-esteem by telling them they need to look a certain way to be loved. And then at home, they're seeing mom or dad putting themselves down. I try my hardest. Honestly, I do. And it took a good while to be able to get into this mindset. But I went from, oh, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly, I'm disgusting, I can't, to, would I want my daughter to say those things about herself? Because she sees me saying them. So what's to stop her from looking in the mirror and saying the exact same thing about herself? Because everybody tells her she looks just like mommy. So what stops her from saying those things about her? Because that's what mommy says about herself. So now, when I talk about myself, I say I just want to be healthy. I don't care what I look like. I want to be healthy. And when my daughter asks, what do you mean, mommy? I love you. You're so beautiful. I say, I am my love, but I'm not healthy. Mommy wants to be healthy so I can play with you better, so I can play with Bluey better. And that makes sense to her. I explain that the things I do aren't always healthy for me. Sometimes I'm lazy. Sometimes I just don't eat right. Those are things I have to work on, but I need to not make it where it's about how I appear. Because I have people watching me. And I'm internalizing my insecurities in them inadvertently. And it's what we all do. It really, really is. It is what we all do. And then when they become teenagers and they're so confused and they're so They just don't understand. They hear all those side comments. They hear all those rude remarks people make. I remember my dad. I hated it. It's the one thing I hated about my dad, truly and honestly. He'd always have a comment about mine, my sisters, and my mom's weight. He'd always say, we need to do more. We need to eat less. You can't be fat forever. And I know he meant it in a loving way, especially in my adult age. But the way it was said and the way it was presented, especially when I was a teen and a child, it just made me feel crappy about me. It made me feel like even in my safe zone, I wasn't good enough. Even in the place that should be building me up because the world will constantly tear me down when I go out, I wasn't safe there. Not in this aspect. My psyche was being punished for something I didn't have control over. I didn't make dinners. I couldn't say no to not to eating. I couldn't say, I don't want this, I want something else. I couldn't just go out and walk around, run around, and go wherever I wanted to try to lose weight. If my mom didn't want to go, that was that. I didn't go. And yeah, I could have went in the backyard. But you're a teenager. You don't want to do that. You want to be talking to your friends on the phone, listening to music. I was a nerd, so I was reading. It's so detrimental, not just to our young ladies. I think sometimes we focus on the girls because there's so much negativity towards them. But even with the boys are hearing, you're too chunky. You should gain muscle. No girl's going to want you if you look like that. No girl's going to want to be with you if you're too skinny. You should learn how to do your hair better. You should learn how to grow a mustache. Learn how to grow a beard. Look at all these other boys your age. They do it. Why don't you work out more? Even to our spouse. Do we really think about the things that we tell them? Do we take time to actually think about the words that we tell them? Are they words of encouragement and building them up, helping their confidence be at a stable place? Or are we breaking them down the same way society breaks us down? I tell my husband constantly, you're so handsome. You're so fit. I love the way you look. And he laughs. And I'm like, why do you laugh? He's like, because I don't feel that way. And to me, it's crazy. Because my husband is a very handsome man. He has muscles, like, he's a desirable person. And then you got me over here with all my chunk. And I'm just like, I don't know, y'all. But there I go again. Am I not desirable just because I'm fat? I'm kind. I'm intelligent. I try hard for everybody I love. Shouldn't those things be more important than the fact that I am extremely overweight? In a health manner, yes, weight matters. You can be too skinny. You can be too big, too fat. But when we're trying to get people to understand that, we need to figure out how to say it better. We need to target the cause, not the effect. Because right now we're targeting the effect, and the effect is worsening the cause. Did you ever think that that big person you just called fat and laughed at, maybe they have a health condition? Maybe they can't get out and exercise. Maybe they've been trying for years to lose the extra weight because it's hard to carry it, y'all. But you know what? They just can't. Or what if that person that you just called skinny and told them they're ugly because of it? What if they're suffering from anorexia, bulimia? They're trying to overcome that. But you know what? Your comment just made them lose the 2 steps forward they made. What if they've been trying to gain weight for years, but their metabolism's so fast they just can't seem to figure it out? They're getting with the doctors, they're getting with the nutritionists. They're trying to figure it out. And your rude comment just sent them back into a hole they had barely climbed out of. We think strangers don't matter because they're strangers. But your comment to a stranger honestly matters so much more than your comment to a friend. My friends call me fat all the time. I don't care. That's whatever. We joke around. But if a stranger calls me fat, or just like somebody that I only barely know, for some reason it hurts more. For some reason I internalize it deeper. Because if my friends tell me I'm fat, yeah, whatever, we play. Or if they tell me I'm beautiful, you're my friend. You gotta say that. But then you got this stranger who has nothing to do with you, no reason to be nice to you or to be upset with you. And they say that comment, and then you're like, oh, well, that must be what everyone sees me like. That must be how everyone sees me. And it's always a first impression thing. There are three main things that people look at when they first meet you, depending on what kind of person they are. They'll look at your shoes, they'll look at your weight, and if they see you in a car, they'll look at your car. At least for women. These are the top 3, right? I always look at a person's shoes first, or their car. But that's because I'm a chunky girl. I don't like judging others for their weight. But when I was skinny, I seen the opposite. I built myself up to feel good about being skinny. But when I got there, I allowed myself to be that mean girl. So it all comes down to, what are you internalizing? Level of testosterone, this is what causes the infertility. That's crazy. What woman want to have that testosterone? That is crazy. I never knew that. I always wondered. I knew that your hormones were off balance, girly girl. But I didn't understand, like, what. And I understand you don't want to tell people that. Because then they're going to say, well, you're very manly. Like, another thing. Just because somebody is more muscular, has a deeper tone, why are we judging them on that? Why are we causing ourselves to internalize these ideas. The models don't even look like it, y'all. These models starve themselves, work out constantly, just to still have their pictures photoshopped. Like, think about that. Think about that. The models that you see in the magazines, on billboards, in movie posters, all those things, right? Those people starve themselves or stick to a very strict diet. They're constantly exercising, constantly taking this diet pill, that diet pill, this and that, and this and that, right? To obtain what society wants, right? And yet, even though they are working so hard and they are what society quote unquote says is beautiful, they are still being photoshopped into an even quote unquote better version because that's what society actually wants. So even those that we think are perfect are not perfect. They're still being changed. So why are we striving to meet these standards that the standard doesn't even meet? You have these actresses and actors that will gain a bunch of weight for a certain role, or they'll lose a bunch of weight for a certain role. There have been actors and actresses that say they literally got physically sick because of what they did for a role. Why are we doing that to ourselves? And we take it in for entertainment. We are telling them that's acceptable because you're entertaining me, because I'm getting it out, something out of it. Why is that acceptable? Even with these young girls who are actresses, they're out here showing their body. Young musicians, during their concerts, they have leotards on. They have skimpy little outfits that only belong in a bedroom with you and your husband. And we're feeding into it. Telling them, yeah, that's how you sell it. You ever heard the phrase sex sells? That's the number one way people market things, is to hit the sexual desire of someone. How sad is that? And how sad is it that we play into it? I believe it because that testosterone level's so high. For sure. If you ladies want to get on, or gentlemen, if there's any gentlemen watching, I'll have a lot of gentlemen viewers. But if you want to hop on and give your story of how body shaming has affected you, please hop on. I would love to hear it. I don't love listening to myself talk all the time. Sometimes I'd be like, let's not do the podcast. And I'm like, nope, these are important topics. But I know that telling someone they're not perfect messes with their psyche, because I had a moment where I was super skinny, right? Let's be honest, I looked like a crackhead because of how skinny I was. And unless I seen myself in front of a mirror, I thought I was fat. I would sit down, and I've always had thunder thighs. Even when I was skinny, I had thunder thighs. Like, that's not going away. I got thighs, I got hips, and that's fine. But I would sit down and I'd see like a tiny little roll and I'd be like, oh, you're so fat. But I was so skinny. I was the skinniest I'd ever been in my life. I was probably on the verge of being too skinny. It didn't look cute. Like when I look back at those photos now, I'm just like, ugh, you look scary. But I still thought I was fat because my whole life I've always been called fat. I was always told, you're too big. No one's going to like you. You're going to die early because you're so fat. You're going to never be able to do the things you want to do because you're so fat. And it sucked. It sucked so much. And it's something you internalize to the point that even when you've overcome it and get to a point that you are happy, there's always that voice in the back of your head telling you that you're that way. I've never been able to wear makeup because I'm allergic to it. The most I've ever been able to wear is eyeshadow, mascara. And those still irritate my eyes extremely bad. So I don't do it often. The most thing that doesn't irritate me is mascara. I can do mascara for the most part. But I've always wanted to be able to because people look so beautiful with it. There are girls out there that they do their makeup and I'm just like, how do you even do that? Like, what? That's insane. But Kay, it shouldn't be embarrassing. The fact that we have created it where because you have an illness and that illness changes your ability to be a quote unquote standard woman, that's what makes you embarrassed about it. And no time should that be the factor. You should be able to publicly and openly talk to, especially your friends, about it. But because we have this standard that women should be a certain way and should have certain things, it's created a ick within you. I know for a fact that you already struggle with the fact that you can't do certain things that you feel a woman should be able to do because of your sickness. But to not be able to express exactly what your sickness is and what it does and how it affects you and the things that it changes within you because you're embarrassed to say it just shows how much of society has ruined each other. We don't know what these illnesses are anymore. It used to be when something happened, it was a public thing, right? Let's take polio, for example. Everybody was going through it. There was, that's fine, ladies. No worries, no rush. I'm going to be on for just a little while. Um, I didn't have to cook dinner tonight, so it was very nice. Polio was crippling children, was putting people in iron lungs, right? It was made known to everyone because it was affecting everyone. But then you have bulimia and anorexia, right? Back in the day, those were made known because you wanted to watch out for each other. You wanted to be able to see the signs to help one another. But now, everything's, oh, shh, don't talk about that. You don't want to offend anyone. You shouldn't talk about that because what if somebody gets hurt because you're trying to explain exactly what it is? Or because you're putting a label on it. But if we put a definition to something and then we build a way to accept that as a society and help those who are suffering from it, isn't that better than shoving it under the rug? Making people feel crappy because they have to go through it? Making them feel like they have to go through it in secret because no one will understand if they ask for help in public? You have people out here that want to lose weight and be healthy, but they don't know how to. And they feel too ashamed to say that they struggle with not eating, or they struggle with overeating, or they struggle with eating properly, or they struggle with just exercise. They struggle getting up and down. Or you have these girls who are so skinny and they can't figure out how to make fat stay on them. They don't know what foods to eat to help them. They know that they're tired all the time. They know that they're hungry all the time. But if they say those things, well, why are you tired? You don't do anything. You're so skinny, you shouldn't be tired. You should have all the energy in the world. You need to eat more. That'll make you gain weight. And all of a sudden, when they're reaching out for help, they're just getting the same responses over and over and over again. And it goes from seeking help to no one can help me. No one will be able to assist me with this. And then you have, on the other hand, doctors that'll tell you, oh, well, you just need to stop eating junk food, or you need to add more of this and that and this and that, take this diet pill and that diet pill. And you have moms telling their teens to be on diet pills so they don't get too fat so people will like them. And it's just insanity. We've turned appearance into acceptance. If you don't look good enough, society won't accept you. If you don't look a certain way, nobody will want to be your friend. Nobody will want to listen to the things you have to say. Nobody will support you with the cause that you have because you don't meet that standard. And even with people, how they dress, how they wear their makeup, how they present themselves because they just want to feel like them. And I'm not meaning in a way that you change your biologicalness to something else. I'm meaning girls that want to do lots of makeups. People call them whores. Tell them they look like tramps, hookers. But they enjoy doing it because they just like how it looks. It's not that they don't like how they look. They just enjoy how this looks. Or they want to have an emo look. All of a sudden, they're bad kids. They must be doing drugs. They must be troublemakers. We're judging books by their cover. And we've done it so much that it's the standard now. It's what you're supposed to do. I don't know the last time I heard someone younger than me say, don't judge a book by its cover. Because now, you gotta look the hottest. You gotta have the new drip. You gotta have the latest shoes, the latest this, the latest that. You gotta keep up with the Joneses constantly. But what happened to just being you? Like, even how I'm dressed today, you guys. I thought about looking nice. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, why change how I look when my topic is literally that? So I'm going to go how I look every day. Because I don't dress up nice very often, y'all. I have to have a reason to get dressed up. Otherwise, I stay comfortable. There's no reason for me to be all dolled up all the time. I don't have time for that. I got 2 tiny children that take up all of my day. Why am I going to stand in the bathroom for 5 hours trying to get my hair just perfect? Or do some makeup that's going to make me itch and get all icky? The most I do is my hair. And that's because my hair be wild, y'all. It got a mind of its own. I don't even know where it's at this point. I thought we'd get back to curly. We're over here on like wavy. I don't know what's happening to it. I blame my husband. That's its own thing. For those of you who are like, why do you blame your husband? Because he has very straight hair. I had 2 children by him. And apparently, he can change my DNA because of their DNA being inside. It's a mess, y'all. I miss my curly hair. But that's the other thing. We judge people on their hair. You have people out here saying, you can't wear that hairstyle. It's not your culture. Or you can't do your hair like that. That's not what you're meant to look like. Or your hair shouldn't be like that because it doesn't fit you. Or you should make your hair like this. You should leave your hair down. You should put your hair up. You should, like, why are we dictating what people do with their own bodies? Why are we telling them they should look a specific way to make our eyes feel better? So it appeases how we think they should look. People always ask me, like, I let my kids get dressed. They got access to all their clothes. They get dressed. Sometimes they have really great, cute outfits. Sometimes I got an Elsa dress with some pink leggings and some flippy flops with some weird bows going on. And I asked my little girl, is that what you want to wear? And she's like, yeah, don't I look so cute? And I'm like, you sure do, baby. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then everybody else will be like, that's what she's wearing. And I'm like, sure is. Because if I tell her now, no, you don't look good like that, we should change because you look weird, I'm cutting her confidence now. And right now is the main time I need to build that confidence. Because I only have 5 more years before that adolescence sets in, and her own brain is going to try to beat her down. Society is going to try to beat her down. Her peers are going to try to beat her down. I want her to have so much confidence that even though she steps out to the world and it beats her down, it can chip away, but she still has so much that it doesn't affect her. I'm the same way with my little boy. He be all kinds of mismatchy. He has no sense of color coordination. He has no sense of, I need to have this on. None of it. The most I make my children do is my little girl has to be appropriately dressed and my little boy has to keep his clothes on. Because this boy, he be all over the place. Ooh, and we have one of my sisters. Hey, girly girl.
Hey.
Oh,
I really love this topic. I really do. I'm just gonna grab my phone because it's too far away.
give me a second. I gotta turn up the volume. I'm like, why can't I hear you?
Growing up, my dad's dad. Oh, that's on the other side. Hold on. My dad's dad would always be like, "Why are you wearing that big sweater? Did you gain some weight?" And then when we weren't wearing it, "Oh, I see that you've lost some weight." Or have you lost some weight? Have you gained, like, all the time? And in high school, like, we were popular because we went to school from like elementary till graduation in the same district. But because we didn't have the money, we didn't have the clothes, we didn't have the style, we weren't popular. But we knew all the popular people and we were like friends with them. But it started way back then. I was
Exactly.
going to our high school. I have a sister that's 2 years younger than me. And I would meet somebody new or they would recognize me. "Hey, aren't you Dee Dee's sister?" And I'm like, "No, she's my sister. I'm older." Because I never hit 5 foot. And so she's like 8 inches taller than me, right? And so everybody thought that she was older.
That's funny.
And then it's just society, like, you do got to look good and stuff like that. But it didn't really hit me, like, honestly, until I was dating this one guy. And he had like a poster of Pamela Anderson up in our bedroom that was just covered in leaves, and like supermodels on the fridge and supermodels in the other rooms and everything. So I can't compete with that.
No.
I didn't think I could, you know? And especially like in high school, okay? I get a yearbook and like a couple years later, my senior yearbook, a couple years later, I'm going through it and I see the picture of me and I've got my favorite outfit on and I'm pointing down at, like, it was a fundraiser. I'm pointing down at the cans like, "Yeah, come on. And I was like, why did I think I was so fat? I wasn't. I look good.
Right.
you
You're
know?
like, "Listen, can I have that body back?
I
I'll
wasn't,
take it."
yeah, I wasn't skinny. I'm big boned.
Yeah.
Right. I got hit by a car on my bicycle and it had a brush bar on it and it hit my left leg, the lower part. It didn't break it. And the doctor told me, "You're lucky you're thick boned." Like, look at my hands. Okay.
Right.
Look, when you squeeze it, there's
It's
not a
just
lot of meat
bone.
there.
Yeah.
I'm just big boned.
Yeah.
So it just, and then when you have guys cheating on you and this and that, and people compare you to other people, like my sister. All right. My sister has this thick, long hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I always had like the Dorothy Hamill haircut or the bowl haircut. Thanks, Dad. Um, and they would call her Goldilocks.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody new that would come over and they're like, "Oh, what's your son's name?" "Because of my bowl haircut." And I'm like, "I'm a girl." Funny thing though, y'all know how long my son's hair is, right?
Yeah.
He gets mistaken for a girl.
Yeah.
So he does
Like,
his walk, like his chest is out and his arms are out a little bit. Yeah.
I'm a boy.
Yes. At first, it bothered him, and then he got over it, and then it's bothering him again. And I'm just like, do you? It's
Yes,
gonna
and it's
happen, but
because
walk how you want to walk.
years ago he would have been praised for his long hair.
I know.
But now it's a standard for boys to have super short hair. So it's just we're messing with everybody. And
Mhm.
especially with these trends, the trends come and if you don't meet the trend, then you're not cool or you're not good enough or you're not pretty enough. And
Yeah.
then once that trend's gone, you got to bounce to the next one. So nobody's ever good enough because it's constantly changing.
Mhm.
I always wonder, like, who sets these trends? Like, who decides this is the thing now?
So it usually comes from Germany. I've learned this living in Germany.
Okay.
So when I lived there, right, there was this style, this fashion, and after I came back to the States, a couple months, then the style and the fashion started to hit over here. So
That makes
wherever it comes, it doesn't start here. Let me tell you. Well, some
I believe
might.
that.
I'm not going to say it doesn't, but um, I was going to say. Oh, so there is this comedian Gallagher. I don't know if you know who. You do. I love
I
Gallagher.
think so. I'm
So
pretty sure.
one of his biggest jokes the big joke that I really remember is there's one way to tell difference from a person in front of you that has long hair. Guys walk this way, and girls walk with their arms out to the side. Male, female, male, female.
Yeah.
So
I
I,
can see
I,
that.
I told Tristan that, and I think that's where you got that from.
He's like,
So
got this.
do you, buddy? So, and it does suck, and after you have kids, your body's not the same, except for
Yeah.
Kanisha, you know.
I wish.
I have
I'm sure
a,
she's wishing like it was different though, because she's struggling with all her
I
stuff over
know,
there.
I know,
But then
yeah,
we do stuff like that where we're like, "Well, I wish I had your body after that," and they're like, "Well, I wish I had more meat on me. I wish I had this." And
yeah,
we don't
like
think about those things because
my
we're like,
childhood best friend was just a skeleton,
yeah,
you know, and she always wished that she could be thicker, you know, and now we're both thicker.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
it just sucks, and there used to be this thing. I always heard it from the guys that a girl is using ugly girls to make that one girl look prettier.
yep. I've heard that
And I
too.
was so mad about that. So mad. It's
I
like, are
always
you
felt like
kidding me?
one of those girls that was there to help the other girls look prettier.
Yep. I always felt that way too.
Yeah, and I knew they weren't. Like Kanisha was one of them. I knew that's why she. That's not why she
Yeah.
had my friend, but it's because that's how I seen myself. I told myself those things.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't be my friend if I was pretty too. So
Yeah.
it sucks.
It does suck, and we are our own worst enemy.
Yes, 100%.
Right. Yeah.
But we
Because
don't start that way. That's the sad thing.
Hmm?
We start we don't start that way.
I
We
know.
start with all this confidence, but slowly over time the people that are closest to us chip it away and then we get out in the world and the world chips it away. So our internal voice becomes the echoes of those around us.
Yeah.
And we
I
don't
was a
even
tomboy too when I was a kid.
same.
I'd rather play football with my classmates, than Barbies with the girl classmates.
Yeah.
I wasn't into Barbie. I was into cars, you know.
Yeah.
Now I'm all girl. That was back then.
Now I'm just more tired. I'm like, I don't care what
Girl,
we
I know.
do. I just want to rest.
I know. Yeah, you were talking about like people would say, "Oh, you're skinny. You shouldn't be tired," and this and this and that and that. And I'm thinking, it's the same thing. Like if somebody works construction,
Yeah.
Or if somebody sits at home and they've got 2 monitors, and they have a kiddo, or they have to, like keep answering the phones and do it, like Kanisha,
Yeah.
you know? And then when she's done, she's got to get dinner ready.
Yeah.
That's tiring. Sitting in one spot, like it's not physically tired, it's like head tired and eye tired,
Yeah.
like bloodshot eyes and achy back because you're sitting down or scrunching or, gotta just keep moving. And yeah, it's the same. And even being a stay-at-home mom can be tedious. Like my ex-husband. I was a stay-at-home mom. Okay, mind you, he was a narcissist.
Yeah.
Or is. Even on his days off, I was still working. I even got a job from like 8 at night to 2 or 4 in the morning. And that's when I would do my grocery shopping. I'd either have a backpack stuffed full with bags tied on there and bags in my arms. So I'd be pushing a grocery cart up this hill, you know,
Yeah.
and then still being mom. And on
Yeah.
his days off, I'm like, can you take him to the park? It's my day off. I'm like, when do I get a day off?
You
This is
don't.
easy. I wish I could stay at home. And I'm like, no, because he's lazy. At home, he's lazy. At work, because I got to show people, I'm the best.
I had
And
that talk with
it
my
sucks.
husband when he first started working. He was like, I wish I could still. I'm like, listen, you sat home. You didn't do nada. So shut up. And there was one time I was like, okay, well, you get to do everything I do then. And he said, that's fine. And I let him. I just sat there and I was like, you get to clean, you get to cook, you get to figure out the kids, you get to hear all the craziness that they do. Every time they say mom, I'm going to say dad. And he's like, you do a lot. And I didn't realize. And it's like, yeah, I do. Just because you think I'm sitting at home, even if I am sitting there, I'm
Yeah.
still doing a lot. Like,
Right. Because they're still the mom.
yeah. And they're climbing all over me. And the only reason I'm sitting there is because they want me right next to them. You can't move this spot, mom, because if you move, I have to follow you. And it's just like I need a moment to myself. I'm
Right.
a person too.
I
And
used
they're
to
just
tell
like,
my kids, I'm sorry, finish. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
no, you're fine. I am. You're good. You're good.
I used to tell my kids there's nobody here by that name. My oldest daughter was like, what? I was like, yeah, there's no one here by that name. So, but your mom, and I'm like, not today. She was so confused. She didn't know what to do. She was like 8.
My mom, when my little sister, because we used to bug her all the time, like we would follow her to the bathroom, and her room, it had one of those like, I don't even know what kind of doors they are, but where they just push back and open, they don't lock or nothing. It's like a curtain door or something.
Like an accordion door?
Yeah, accordion door. That's what they are.
Yeah.
We would just bust in on her like, Mom. And I feel so bad now that I am a mom. I'm like, I'm sorry. That was your only personal time you got. And we just all up in your space. But she told us once, she said, my name is no longer Mom. My name is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And we just looked at her like, really?
And if you can't say it, I'm not answering you, right?
Exactly. And my little sister just kept staring at her like, I can't say that. Mom. And she's like, that's not my name. It's not my name today. So I feel it too. I feel that. I'm like, my name's not Mom. And I was so excited because my little boy, he learned dad first. He couldn't say mom. And it was the best. Because he'd be like, Dad, Dad. And he'd scream for him. And then he learned mom. And all of a sudden, it's like dad just
Dad was gone.
And I'm like,
he disappeared from his vocabulary.
Your dad? Ma. And he'll go back and forth between mom and Bobby. Like if I don't reply in the timely manner he feels I should. Yeah. Bobby! And I'm like, when did you learn my name? Hold up. Hold up. I don't appreciate this.
That might be my birth name, but if you want to say birth, you call me Mom.
Right?
Exactly. Just kidding.
I brought you in this world. I could take you out.
I used to tell my kid that too.
My mom used to tell us that all the time. Oh, all the time.
I feel like you and I, like you, I feel like, so I'm Gen X, right? Rock
Yeah.
on. But I'm like 15 years older than you. And like, I think even like 15 years older than Kanisha. But y'all like kind of grew up the same way I did, which is great, you know? Like I'm that way with my son. He's
Same.
spoiled. I'm not gonna lie. He was a
I be
gift.
trying to say, I tell myself all the time, they're not spoiled, they're just blessed. But I'm like,
They're
nah,
just what?
they're blessed. They're not
Oh,
spoiled. But the
well,
way
let me
they be
tell you,
acting, I'm like, you is spoiled.
when my son started acting up, I was like, I gotta nip it. Like
Yeah,
you can be spoiled and not act spoiled.
yeah.
And it was really hard when he would come back from his dad's. That's off topic, never mind.
Nope, I
Off
understand
topic
because
topic.
that's how they are when they come back from grandma's, and I'm like, ooh, I get that.
Well, because they would buy him whatever he wanted. And I don't have the money. They've got two incomes. And
Yeah,
he'd be like, I want that. No, baby, mommy doesn't have the money. He'd lay on the floor and scream and cry. And I was like, we're out. We are so out. Right.
we're done. We
But
don't play this game.
yeah, I tell him, like, I don't talk down to him. I think the only thing that has really hurt his feelings that he brought to my attention is when I told him, you need to toughen up. But he doesn't have that dad to make him
Yeah,
rough and tough like his other friends,
I get
you
that.
know. And he was like, that really hurts my feelings when you say that. And I was like, I'm sorry, baby, but I have to tell you, your friends, they have dads
Yeah,
that make them rough and tough. And I was told by a parent that when you get hurt, he's okay. I'm not gonna say he over exaggerates because mom is sensitive and empath.
yeah,
So I'm pretty sure it's learned behavior. So that's how he reacts, like
yeah,
I did when I was a little girl.
yeah.
And they complain like he wants us to like we feel that we have to stop and like cater to him. And so I had that conversation with them and I'm like, I don't know how you can become rough and tough with your friends, except maybe when you get hurt, just be like, hold on. Oh my gosh, that hurt. You know, and then get back up,
Yeah.
and it's been working pretty good.
That's exciting. Yay.
Yeah. So they went, what is
They
that?
went camping, yeah?
No, there's instead of paintball, it's airsoft.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tristan has these two, like it was almost point blank when they got him. When I
Wow.
told him, I said, I'm so proud of you that you didn't come out crying and wanting to quit and everything. He's like, well, I didn't come out, but I wanted to quit. And I'm like, but you didn't. And you went back for a second round. He's like,
Exactly.
yeah, but I'm 99.9% sure I'm not going to do it again. And I said, I think in a couple of years, because we forget what the hurt feels like,
Oh, yeah.
in a couple of years, if, somebody wants to go there, you'd be like, oh yeah, I had a good time last time. He goes, okay, so that 0.9% just went to 0.5%. Yes, I'll do it. I'm like, okay, I'll shut up. But I just try to lift him up, and I tell him, well, I haven't done it in a minute because all my surgeries, whatever, but I used to tell him, give 2 compliments today, one to a male and one to a female. It doesn't matter if they're adult or little kids. Just give 2 compliments, like, hey, your hair looks nice, or rad shoes, whatever,
Yeah,
because it matters what you say,
it does.
especially to strangers, like what you
Yeah,
were saying earlier. Yeah.
yeah.
I do it still to this day. Like, it became such a habit for me. If I see somebody that's beautiful or they've got a great hat, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, what a great hat. And they'd be like, oh, this whole thing? Oh, thank you. Or if I say you're pretty and they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And it just, not only does it make their day, it makes my day too.
right?
Because I'm
Yeah.
telling the truth. I'm not lying.
No,
Bobby, I'm not going to lie. I tell it how it is.
I don't got energy to lie. I be telling people that all the time. I'm like, I don't, Any energy I have to use towards the tiny people that suck it out of me on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I don't have the energy to make up a lie to you. It's
Yeah.
exhausting.
Yeah. You got to lie to
Like,
them. I ain't got no money. No,
exactly.
it's not frozen yet. Popsicles or them, and they're frozen, but you don't want to deal with the mess.
Every day. Like I bought my little girl these little ice creams, like the mini ice creams.
Yeah,
Every day, as soon as she goes, "Can I have ice cream?" I'm like, "No, you need to eat food. What are we doing?
I know.
I just want ice cream." And I'm like, "That sounds nice, but no."
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for letting me come on here. I love you
It was
so
fine.
much. And I'm glad
Thank
that
you
you
for
did this
coming.
because it is a topic that needs to be talked about. And people need to stop being sensitive
Yeah,
about it. And me being a sensitive girl, that's a tough thing for me to say, you know. And but you're right, like you could call yourself fat. Your
yeah,
friends could call you fat, but your friends know that they can say that about you. My friends know that they can't say that about me because I'm too sensitive, right? And I can
yeah.
call myself that. But if somebody else does, it's like sometimes it's crushing, and other times I'm just like,
It's just like whatever.
yeah, especially if I'm all dolled out and everything. I'm like, you don't know who you're talking to. I'm feeling confident. Take
Right.
that somewhere else. But anyway,
I had to tell my husband because I've been trying to lose weight. Like I'm trying to get healthy. Like I said, and he picks the most inappropriate times to tell me things. Like I'll be getting ready for something we're going to, and for me, I have to build my confidence up. Like, yeah, you look good, you look nice. Let's do this. Look at you, look so
hmm
pretty. And then I'll go in the room to do something. And he's like, you should really wear your waist trainer more. And I'm like, well, thank you. I appreciate you telling me that. So I told him, I was like, you can't say those things when we're getting ready for something. I said, say those things when like it's first thing in the morning, like, babe, wear your trainer today to help you out, help you sweat. That's great. But if I've already like halfway dressed, my hair's done, all
yeah,
that, you're killing me. Because then
yeah,
everything I just built myself up into, you've just torn it down in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And now I just
yeah.
feel like crap and I don't want to go nowhere.
I would have looked at him for, I don't know, something like, babe, you could have said, hey, you've lost weight. You should keep using that. You're looking
Right.
good. you
Yes.
know. But
Yeah.
men and women don't think the same, for the most part.
Yeah.
So,
They definitely have
yeah,
different perspectives of things. Because to
yeah.
him, he's like, this is a great time to tell you. To me, it's like, this is the worst time you could have ever picked in your life. Thank you very
I
much.
know. Like, dang it, husband. Dang
Right?
you.
Oh my God.
Part
Oh, you
two.
love me. Well, I appreciate you coming on, girly.
You're welcome, honey. I love you so much.
I love you.
All right. How do I get out of here?
I think you can just like end it. I know I can remove you from the screen, but I don't know how like
Yeah.
are you on
Um,
your phone?
take me off the screen. Yeah. And then I'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah. You guys, it really matters not only what we say to others, but what we say to ourselves. Cuz like I was just telling Jella, I build myself up. I have to build myself up because if not, I I just beat myself down. I try something on and if my chunk is sticking out too much, I'm like, "Oh, you're so fat. Why are you even bothering? You don't look pretty." But then at the same time, I build myself up and then like I'll look at pictures or something and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you look like a whale there. What were you thinking?" It's it's so hard because we get in these modes where it's just like no, you're good. I'm telling you, these kids be 24/7. A mom is literally 24/7 job. I don't care what anybody says. A mom's job, a good mom, okay? Because there are definitely moms out there that they clock in, they clock out. A good mom. It's a 24/7 thing. There is no break. And sometimes you want to stab yourself in the eye, but that's a different topic, y'all. Oh, sorry. I had a moment because I could feel it. I could feel it. I feel it. But it's so hard, especially when I was the skinny girl, right? So I don't know if I can pull up a picture. My phone's about to die, y'all. But let me see if I can pull up a picture. Hold on just a second. Let me text my hubby back. I might have to jump off here in a second so we can eat dinner. His tummy gets upset if he eats too late, y'all. But let me see if I can find a picture of Skinny Bobby. Because Skinny Bobby also had blonde hair. And let's Bobby was not very happy with Bobby at this point in time. But in the moment, I was wonderfully happy. I was like, yeah, I'm so skinny. I look so good. I look so pretty. I didn't like my blonde hair ever. I was very sad with that. So that was just a horrible thing. Never dye your. Listen, if there are any hairstylists out there, when you are telling your clients whether or not they want all over highlights or partial highlights, please make sure they understand what you mean. Because I was told, do you want partial or all over? And to me, that meant like a little bit or everywhere. I wanted everywhere highlights. I got blonde hair. It was bad. So look, this is when I was skinny with my normal hair. I don't know if y'all can see that. I don't think you can see it. It's bad. But I was pretty. Like, I looked nice. It was wonderful. Let's see. The lighting's horrible. But even here, I thought I was fat, y'all. Literally. And it's because I was so convinced I was always going to be fat that even being skinny, I felt fat. And then when I was skinny, I felt like I was competing with, with everyone still. Like, even though I finally met the standard, I still had to compete with other girls that met the standard. I still had to make sure I looked the nicest, that my clothes fit the perfect way, that this, that, and it created a person I hated. It created a person that I never wanted to be. And it sucked because now I look back at that and I hate that period of my life. And I never want to be that skinny girl because I never want to end up in that same boat. Because I didn't like Skinny Bobby. She was a whore. She was mean. She was rude. She was a person I didn't know. But I was trying to be what I thought I was supposed to be by the way I looked. Because let's be honest, when we think about certain features of someone, if we think about the popular kids, right? Me and Jel were talking about that. The popular kids have the best clothes, they got the newest shoes, they're pretty, they're fit, they probably do a bunch of sports, right? All these things, right? And then when you think about how they act, sometimes they're mean, sometimes they're rude, sometimes they make fun of other people for no good reason, but we let them because they're popular, right? And especially as a teenager, you want to be popular. Because if you're not popular, you're right? And if you can hang out with the popular kids, great. You're popular by association, right? Because that's what I was. everyone knew who I was because of the people I hung out with, and also I was smart. So everybody would come to me for help with that. So it was great. I had my in for popularity. But I never felt that I fit the picture of popularity. And it's so, so sad because unless you are brought up in a God fearing household, the only thoughts of what you should look like, what you should be like, is those of society. But then if we go back and we read our Bible, God tells us the complete opposite. He's constantly telling us we're beautiful, we're courageous, we're enough, we're strong, we're wise, we're powerful. We're made in His image, you guys. I would never, ever, ever tell God He's not beautiful enough, or He's not skinny enough, or He's not fat enough. I would never even think about saying that. But when I look in the mirror, I'm quick to tell myself that. And I'm quick to forget that I am made in His image. I'm quick to forget that I am a reflection of Him. And that He sees me in a completely different aspect than I see myself. He doesn't care what this looks like. He cares what's inside here, what's going on up here. He could care less if my hair is brown, pink, yellow, green, orange, or bald. He don't care. He could care less if I'm chunky, skinny, a pear, hourglass, square. He doesn't care that I'm wearing jeans or leggings or shorts, as long as it's appropriate, right? He doesn't care if I'm constantly in dresses or skirts or t-shirts and sweats. He doesn't care about any of those things. He only cares about what's inside. Am I reflecting Him? Am I showing the world who He is through my actions, through my words, through who I am? And part of me convinces myself that because I'm not healthy, I'm not reflecting Him good enough. And yes, there is a part of me that's not. But it has nothing to do with the way I look. It has to do with the source of the way I look. I suck at self-discipline. And because I suck at self-discipline, I gorge on food. I don't exercise when I should. I eat too late. I eat too much. I eat improperly. That is a self-control issue, not a you're fat issue. So we need to stop looking at the product and look at the apparently I'm gonna die, y'all. Start looking at the cause. And this boy, my husband's so cute, y'all. I love him. Oh, God truly blessed me with my husband. I know I say that like every time I do a video or I do a live, but you guys, you have no idea how much I appreciate my hubby. He's all over here. You're still pretty. And then my phone died. That's funny. We have to stop judging the end result, right? Stop looking at the effect of what's happening. Look at the cause that got you to that. Is it a fact that somebody can't gain weight or they can't lose the weight? Is it something we can assist them with? Is it something that we can help them with? Would you be okay with what is about to come out of your mouth being told to either you or your child? If the answer is no, don't say it. Don't say it. If you feel that what you are going to say would make you feel like crap, don't say it. Hold it inside. Follow that golden rule. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it. We need to get back to these foundations that we used to be so good with because they were in line with God instead of the way the enemy has led us. If we look at the cause, we can change the effect. If we look at why are you overweight? Why do you not have what society says is perfect? And then we need to stop saying that you have to be a certain way to be good, to fit into society. Society needs to shut up. Because guess what? Society isn't even what society says it should be. Let's get with those countries that are healthy. Let's talk to them. How are you guys so healthy? How are you doing this? What is your secret? And then let's apply it. Do you know America is the fattest country in the world? And I'm not trying to shame anybody right now, but it's the truth. And it's because we're not looking at the cause. We're just looking at the effect, the end product. We're so quick to eat up all these things that they're giving us and not second guess that they're feeding us crap. Not even think about, does this benefit my body in any kind of way? Hi, girly girl.
Hey, mommy, hold on. I'm watching your video, so I gotta turn it off. Am I on? Am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. I didn't know I was on stage. Stop
You're
it.
on. You're on.
Okay. Yes, baby, I know. Girl, you are speaking so much truth in this live stream. I'm looking a hot mess over here. I'm trying to get the stuff ready for the garage sale. But anyway, yeah, so I was thinking this whole time watching this, it's a catch-22 with this whole body shaming thing.
It really is.
So it either you get people who literally like put others down to like they just tear them down. They just do them so dirty. Or you get people who don't care about your health and they will say, eat whatever you want, do whatever you want. And there's not a balance, just like everything in America, really, but the world. There's no balance. There's a healthy medium, right? Our bodies are all built differently. We're not built the same. And, and then on the other hand, the food in America is illegal in most countries in the entire world.
That's what I'm saying.
It's killing us. I mean, that's what causes PCOS. What I have is the food. The food caused that.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I 100% believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So
But you're on the money, girl. I mean, that's why I was trying to keep coming up, and I was like, no, like you're too spot on right now. I have nothing that can top that or come close to what you're saying. You're just spitting facts. So
it's just so sad. Like, we convince ourselves we have to meet a standard. Society's not meeting the standard, but they're pushing the standard. And then we internalize all these things and we push it, younger and younger and younger. And that's the thing that sucks the most is we're pushing it on the younger. Um, that's okay. I'll bring you on in just a second. Um, we push it on the younger people quicker and quicker and quicker. Like that's what I was saying. Like
Yep.
these pageants that we got these little girls in, why are they being dolled up like 20-year-olds?
Girl, yes. When you were talking about that earlier, I was like practically shouting, like for real, for real. All you go to the stores and they have half just covering the chi-chis and little mini skirts for babies.
For babies, like
I'm like, are you perverted or sick or twisted or all the above? Like,
all the
it's
above.
hard to just find regular baby clothes.
It is. And then people buy you these clothes and they expect you to put your child in it, and you just look at them like, I'm not putting my child in that. No.
Yeah,
And then
one
they
of
get
these ladies
upset.
got me for Anaya, got me sorry, I'm all over the place, but I gotta work and talk.
No, you're fine.
Got me a outfit for Naya's first birthday, and it was like 3 outfits. All of them were so hoochified,
Yeah.
so like go-go dancer looking, and I was like, to this day I don't even know what I did. I probably threw them away, but I never put that money in that. Because I'm not the one to dress my daughter in a perverted way, for, oh, you look so cute. Like, no, my daughter needs to actually look cute, like a little girl should,
Yes.
not like a grown woman would wear to the club on a Saturday night.
Yes. I was at Walmart the other day and I was just walking around and I literally seen it was like this tiny little shirt and these tiny little pants, and I was laughing with my sister and I was like, look at that. I think they put that in the wrong area. And she said, no, that's for super skinny girls that love to like show off their body and stuff. And I'm like,
Unbelievable.
who fit in that? Because it literally looked like a tiny child.
Yep.
And I'm like, why? Why?
Yep.
Why? Just why? I don't. And we convince the girls. This is the worst part of the whole body shaming in general. We convince them that they need to show off their body, and that's why it needs to look a certain way so they can show it off.
Yes. Yes.
And we've lost the let's be covered up. Let's be appropriate. Let's be modest. Modesty.
It's actually, we've
flew
lost
out
the
the
let's be
door.
godly. The godly part's leaving everywhere. That's why this is happening.
And the enemy is literally chipping it away more and more. Every generation, he gets more and more of it gone. And it's so sad. I lost my other person that was going to join.
Well, that's all I had to say. I mean,
know
really, I just want to let you guys know you're doing a good job, Ange. I'm so proud of you, dude. And Bobby,
Right?
like, there's
I was so
nothing I
proud
can
of
say
her.
that's gonna top you, huh?
I was so
What'd you
proud of
say?
Ange getting on. So
Me
proud of her.
too. Me too. Well, whoever
I was
wants to
like,
hop
yay!
on, I'll hop off because I'm trying to get this garage sale stuff together. I know I'm looking crazy over here, going back
You
and
look
forth.
beautiful.
Huh?
Said you look beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. I meant looking crazy as in bending over, grabbing pals and stuff and walking back and forth.
All right, girlie, I love you.
I
Huh?
love you too, babe.